To remove a Windows 10 motherboard, you will need to disconnect the power that goes to the board. You will need to remove the two USB connections on the top. One goes to the RFID reader, the other one goes to the touchpad, and you will need to disconnect the Ethernet cable that runs down to the SD400 board. You will also need to remove the 40-pin cable that goes to the AD termination board. Once those cables have been disconnected, you will then remove the 4 screws that go to the standoffs. One's here, one is there, there's another one over on this corner, and there's another one in this corner. Before you reinstall your Windows 10 motherboard, verify that all your connections are correct. Make sure that all your wires are routed properly. Make sure that you have tape over your COM ports, and make sure that your RAM is installed. That's how it looks on the back. From the front, you will want to make sure that all your cables are hooked up. You've got your 2 cables that are hooked up here for the motherboard, the power, and the SATA cable. You've got the COM port cable, you've got the USB cable. Along the top, you've got the VGA connection cable. You've got a battery hookup to the motherboard, and you may or may not be reusing your 518 board or your hard drive. If you are just replacing the motherboard that was sent to you from ComDel, it will come with the RAM installed in the back. You will need to remove the 2 bolts that hold the 518 board in, and then you will need to disconnect the 40-pin ribbon cable that comes in from the AD termination board. You will also need to disconnect all of the cables that go to the cable kit. You've got the USB cable, you've got the SATA communication cable to the hard drive, you've got the COM port adapter cable, you've got the power cable for the hard drive. On the side, you've got the VGA cable, and you've got the battery connection up here. And then you'll be able to take the motherboard off of the back plate by removing the 4 screws in the corner. One here, one in this corner, here, and again up here. One thing to note when installing the 518 board is be very careful and make sure that your pins are all lined up with the header. So as you can see, the header has a special design, and the pins are designed to go in there just one way, and they can be mistakenly put off one set of pins. So make sure that you're getting them exactly in the pin locations that they need to be in. When inserting the new motherboard on the back plate, make sure that all your wires are tucked back in the right places to start, and then thread the 40-pin ribbon cable onto the 518 board and attach that before you place it up onto the standoffs. Now that you have the motherboard reinstalled, verify that all your connections are hooked up. You got your ribbon cable hooked up here, you've got your Ethernet cable hooked up here, you've got your touchpad, you've got your RFID reader, you've got your VGA cable, and you've got your power cable here. From there, you should be ready to turn on the unit and verify that it's working.